we're live. Now we're live. How's everyone doing?
Now we're live.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So you're gonna go and tell us and tell everybody that everything we say, right, is not representative of DoD or the Marine Corps Army. Go ahead.
Yeah, so first of all, welcome to our first fireside chat with Lieutenant Colonel Montalvan, Presidente of
It's
ANSO.
not the first one. It's the second one.
The second one.
Second
The
one.
second one. First one in
It's
YouTube. First one in
the second
YouTube.
one. Come on, let's get it right. All
The
right. All
second,
right.
the second one, and as I remember, this doesn't represent to any of the DoD any affiliates. This is pertained just for the views of the individuals here present. Sir, welcome again to your second fireside chat, but this time on YouTube Live. We have here the chap, and then we have we have Tassa and Melanie too. Let's talk about the symposium, sir. How that went?
Well, we got to get it together first, right? Like we just like
Yeah.
first of all, we're having a good day. It's Thursday, right? So you all know the message came out, so I'm pretty excited. But most importantly, I saw a bunch of my friends
That's good.
on the promotion list for Colonel.
Yeah.
So congratulations to all of them, and I cannot wait to see the Lieutenant Colonel selection list because I have a bunch of mentees on waiting for the results as well. So this is really great. Another great news, right? One of our board members was selected to the 2024 Latina Style Distinguished Award, our senior enlisted rep for the Coast Guard. So we're having an amazing week and a half for Enzo and for all of us. So I wanted to start that way, but the symposium was great. I think that we got a lot out of it. We got to meet a lot of people. We learned a lot of lessons, and most importantly, we got to interact with a lot of senior officers and enlisted who possibly before that, and many said it, right? They didn't know about ENSO, and they didn't know that we will carry enlisted in our board of directors, and that we're inviting enlisted service members to be part of us. So we had a great, I think we had a great week. I don't know. What do you think, Stasron?
It was great, sir. For the first time in my career, I was able to interact with Coast Guard, Navy, everywhere around the whole entire world. And just hearing everybody's experiences, getting to just enjoy a whole week of leadership, professional development, and just sharing our stories was by far the best symposium I have attended.
What do you think, chaps? What are your thoughts?
Loved it. I mean, I definitely love those opportunities, those kind of symposiums. I know someone actually was saying, "Hey, sometimes that's kind of like drinking the Kool-Aid, but in so many ways, I think it's just energizing and is motivating. Is practicing, what does it mean to be joined, to really come together with other branches and be able to do things together. And always is good to learn. It's just that exposure to kind of learning how other people do certain things and being able to learn from that, and at the same time share our values, share what we have. And the presenters we had, it was so amazing just to hear from CNO, from CMC, from all the senior enlisted leaders, pretty much of all the sea services, all the panelists and the perspectives they brought in. So I think we were able to see so many different facets and so many different pieces of what leadership is all about. And it was a good opportunity just to be able to allow that just to sink in a little bit. It was cloud nine, but it's good to get back to reality and also see, hey, this stuff is applicable.
Yeah, well, I don't know who told you drinking the Kool-Aid, and I don't know why the Kool-Aid gets a bad name, but Kool-Aids are really good and tasty, right? I like the red ones. I think it's punch. So I really understand why people are saying those things. But you can call it whatever you want to call it, right? And sometimes we forget that we joined the service, so we join whatever branch we're in for a reason, right? And when we go in to those, symposiums, you're reminded of those reasons. So it's not drinking the Kool-Aid, it's just being reminded. Because we start working so early in the morning, and then we go late, and then we have family events and we have kids events and stuff like that we tend to forget, right? And doing the symposium is us focusing on our abilities, our skills, mentoring, and just learning. So I don't know why the Kool-Aid gets a bad name, but I think I would drink it any day of the week and twice on Sunday if we can, we get that kind of environment again. So it's exciting. But one of the things that, and I know Manuel was not there, right? But I don't know if you guys noticed, but one of the things that came up was the accent, right? And a couple of our service members were like, "Hey, I struggle with the accent, and I'm embarrassed to speak English, and because I mispronounce it and stuff." And for me, my answer was simple. It's like, speak it. I don't care, right? You join, you're serving, and it's just great, right? So for me, if you speak Spanish with an accent or you speak English with an accent, it's irrelevant. You speak two languages, and you should be proud of that. And that's probably the most important thing that you have is just try it, right? You're gonna have an accent, you're gonna mispronounce some words, and for me, it's completely irrelevant, right? So I'm okay. I don't know by you chaps or staff Shine how you guys cope with that, but for me it's completely irrelevant. And I see Nicole. Nicole, you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There you go. Turn on the camera, Nicole. I haven't seen you in a week, so we gotta enjoy you from San Diego. I know you're in San Diego enjoying the sunny. You're probably at the beach, but we need your voice in here.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second.
Yeah, you see, it's like Lieutenant JGs. They get promoted all of a sudden. They just don't want to even do anything, right? They just want to like have all blacked out and stuff. But I don't know, chaps, if you run into those conversations, but I definitely did like a couple of times.
Yes, indeed, and I think it's part of developing some of that comfortable space where we understand that it's not about perfection. It's about keep trying it and keep doing it. And I remember one of the CEOs in one of the squadrons, his invitation to the entire squadron was, "Hey, I'm not expecting I'm not expecting perfection from you. I'm expecting excellence. And the way you do excellence is by keep doing your best." And pretty much that's the whole thing. The fact that we speak with an accent, the fact that sometimes we may mispronounce some things, the fact that sometimes there's some things that we're trying to get out and communicate, and it just takes us a couple minutes just to go ahead and try it in a different way. It's all part of the beauty of what we bring, because there's not just one way of doing things. There are multiple ways, and it's part of this kind of beautiful picture that comes together whenever each of us kind of brings his own. So I think that's part of the beauty of it.
It is. What are your thoughts, Tasha?
So one thing when somebody brings up that question about like my accent has always been an issue, um, because of the way I pronounce things, and people have made it harder for me to feel comfortable in speaking English. I tell them all the time that people have told me I have an accent in English. They're like, "Oh, you sound like you sound like a California girl. Sound like you're from here." So even if you do have an accent, it doesn't prevent you from performing, because at the end of the day, it's what performance is going to count. It doesn't matter whether you speak Spanish, or you're from a different country and you speak Spanish a certain way, or you speak English a different way. It doesn't matter. But to see that people who, like Lieutenant Colonel Montalvan, like you have an accent, but it doesn't determine whether or not it's not gonna determine whether you're gonna be successful or not. You go and you take actions. For example, you getting promoted to colonel here pretty soon is an example of not being embarrassed of where your roots are, where you come from. And I think that's what a lot of people at the symposium saw, that no matter where you come from, whether you have an accent or not, is going to determine your success.
Well, I'll be honest, right? Like sincere and to the point. For a long time, I was not embarrassed of my culture or heritage, right? But I was embarrassed of my accent, and I tried to lose it for a long time, and it was just trying to speak, English as much as I could so I could get that. And at the end, I don't have a huge accent like I did before, but I still have one. So I tend to pick different words that mean the same thing that I'm trying to convey so that my accent doesn't come out as much, right? So that I can enunciate, pronunciate, whatever it was. But it happens to all of us because we're trying to go, to grow in an environment where English is the primary language, right? So there's a book that I was sent is How Do You Lose Yourself as You Go Up the Ranks, right? So it's true, right? So when you're coping in a new environment, trying to be successful, you have to adapt. And as a result, you start losing some of your accent, you start losing some of your culture, you start losing some of that. And some people crave it enough that they go looking, right? So for a long time, for me, I would find an apartment or a house to rent that was in the vicinity of a Latin American restaurant or somewhere that I could go dancing, right? That was my way of coping with the idea. But I see Nicole here, so I'm going to do something special for her, right? Look at that, Argentina, the Argentina Cup. So you're saying that because I don't think you can see it, but it's Argentina. So just celebrating Argentina because I know that her mom and her heritage is Argentinian, and she can actually speak Spanish, but she's one of the ones that is reversed, right? You have
Have to, I will. Or if I have to talk to patients in Spanish that only speak Spanish, I'll do it. But I do get nervous.
was going to be interviewed, and it's like I'm going to do it in Spanish. I said I wanted English, and I almost made her cry. She almost like I don't know. She almost left the symposium, but for me, it was not that intent. It was like, hey, you got to be uncomfortable because at one point or another, if you want to raise, you want to climb up the ranks, you got to be uncomfortable, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. We are who we are. There's nothing that you can change, right? So, Nicole, espero que hables más en español porque el acento es el acento, ¿verdad? No importa lo que es. But no, so apart from that, there was other ones, right? Like we recognize a lot of people. So, like some people were like, well, you only presented 2 awards, and that's true, right? Which I was really disappointed. We only gave 2 awards. But Chops, how many coins did you give me?
It was about almost 70. 70 different awards between
How many
the
coins do you
regular,
think I came back with?
probably 0, I suspect.
I came back with, I think it was like 4 medals, right? But all the other coins went away. I believe, and I don't know if you guys have heard me say this in the 80s, right? The Napoleon quote, right, where it says, it's like, if I had enough medals, I would win any campaigns, right? If I have enough ribbons, so some people have changed it, like if I had enough ribbons, I would win any campaign. So I had a commanding officer that they bought about 1,000 coins, right? And by the time that he transferred 3 years later, he still had like 940, like 960 coins or something like that. I don't remember, but he had issued maybe, I think actually probably even more than that. But for me, what's the point of buying coins or having coins if you're not going to recognize the people that are in your command or in your chapter or in your association, right? So for me, it was like meritorious, you heard me, meritorious promotion. Here you go. Hey, you were the #1 recruiter. Here you go. Hey, you got selected for a special program. Here you go, right? There's not a point for us to come up and be like holding on to coins when one, people don't know who you are. Two, especially as you go higher up the ranks, right? It's like, unless you're the commandant of the Marine Corps, it'd be like, okay, you're a commanding officer, but who cares, right? Like, it's like apart from your unit, most people don't know who you are, right? So what's the point of having coins and not rewarding people with them, right? We had about 600 people, right? Take it or leave it. And we gave out 60 coins. So about 10%, which we keep on saying, like the top 10%, right? Top 10% got a coin. So it's all good. Now, if you didn't get a coin, I apologize. I don't think I gave Nicole a coin, but I brought one with me. So I have a coin here. I don't think it's Staff Sergeant. I think you got one, right? So now that you're not at 10%, it's just that I run out of coins but I still have some, right? So I have the joint one. So I was planning to send some to some of the people that I spent. And by the way, those that did not know, I spoke to Nicole a little bit during the symposium. And I don't know if you want to tell her, she probably won't say it, but she paid her plane ticket on her own, right? I don't know if the Navy covered the registration. I'm not sure. But I also know that she paid for the hotel on her own. So that was when people say that it doesn't mean much to us when people show up, as that's ridiculous, because we care about every single one, and when they do that effort, it's a big deal. So what do you want to talk about, Nicole? You're the, well, apart from Staff Sergeant, right? You're like the most junior out of the four of us. So what do you want to talk about?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I was gonna say congratulations on your promotion or selection to colonel. So I wanted to tell you that. And then I wanted to hear more about the future of ANSO. I know that we have the upcoming symposium in December, but I know that you have more developments.
Oh, well, yeah. Somebody made a mistake like that at I don't know if you heard about the Coast Guard dinner that we had on Wednesday. Did any of you hear about that or no? No? Excuse me. So I'm recovering from a cold. But so we had a Coast Guard meeting on Wednesday last week, right? So it was with admirals and command master chiefs, and it was just pretty high level. I think I was the most junior apart from chief. So Drakes and I and Chief were the most junior ones in there apart from the eight. So they asked me that, right? So I went through the line on the things that we have accomplished, right? We have accomplished a lot. In the last 6, 7 months, we have accomplished more than anything that we can imagine. But what I told them was that I wanted to increase awareness. I wanted to increase people knowing that ANSO exists, right? And I want people to know that we also serve enlisted service members. That's one of the things, right? But I also told them, hey, we want to keep on adding podcasts. We want to open the chapters in Puerto Rico. We want to like increase participation in Miami. Miami is killing us. It's a Hispanic Latino type of deal, but they have run one event in probably 24 months, right? So we need people to participate in that chapter. We got a lot of people in Puerto Rico that want to do something, but they haven't done that. So I mentioned that. I mentioned I want to increase the number of awards that are submitted from the services, right? We need to submit more awards, and we need to submit more awards for Latinas as well, because other services have a lot of Latinas. On average, I think it's like, guys, like 15% of Latinas are in there, if not more, and we don't get the nominations, right? Like, so Latina style, limited amount. The Marine Corps only submitted 6, the Coast Guard submitted 4 or 5. I don't know about the Air Force, right? But there's just not enough. And I told them that we need to start recognizing the effort and hard work of Latinas, Latinos, and Hispanics in general. So that's another thing that I would like to do. I want to increase the number of scholarships, right? So last year we gave out 10 scholarships. I want to give out more. I want to at least increase it to 15 scholarship, which equate to like 15,000, right? And I want to make sure that we not only the scholarship, but I want to make sure that we're getting to assist the recruiters with their recruitment, right? We need to be able to mentor and lead and assist those kids. And I will tell you, since Nicole brought it up and Staff Sergeant was sharing, and so was Chops when we talked about messages, right? So for me, when I was having a discussion as to where I'm going to get promoted, right off the bat, I'm leaning towards a high school, right? Like I'm leaning towards going to the high school that I graduated from, if not a sister or brother high school in Miami. And 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 it's great if I go to the Marine Corps Museum or Marine Corps Memorial and all that stuff, right? But that would be about me. And for you all that know me, it is about me, but it's not about me. So last time that I went to Miami and I was the officer for recruiting, I was able to get a lot of kids to believe in themselves, and now they're going to college and they got scholarships and they got all this stuff, right? And citizenship. So then the first inclination for me is to get promoted in a high school that has a JROTC unit that is open to all the high schools in the area. They know how significant it is. They don't see that many Hispanics getting promoted to colonel, especially in the Marine Corps, right? So for me, it's about giving back. So going back to what you asked, Nicole, I want to give back more. I want to make sure that people, and I want people to be more involved, and I want them to be wanting to do it, right? And Major General Ayala said it's like if Jose dies today, and I'm like, oh my God, sir, you're like wishing me to die. No, but that was not the point. I understood what he was trying to say, right? Which was, if something happens to you, because all these people are working for you per se, working for you because they like you and they believe in you, and you're working for them because it's a mutual two-way street. What happens to the association if something happens to you, right? So one of the main things is making sure that somebody's ready to step into that, have someone of the same personality, if not a little bit different, but that is complementary between the VP and the president, so the association continues to move. Because everything that we're doing, if we get someone that is not as involved and proactive, it's going to disappear. And we see it anytime that we have a new commanding officer in our units, right? So we got to make sure that the people on the board, the directors, are involved, they're committed, and one of them or multiple of them want to be presidents. So, Nicole, are you trying to say that you want to be a president?
I don't think I said anything remotely close to that, but I'm not opposed.
Yeah, so that's a start, right? And Chavs, you're clapping because you know her more than I do. So that's that means that she's talented and she's skilled, right? And but Steph, I don't know what I think that we just got to take a look and sit down, right? We need to take a look and see what my crazy ideas are going to develop into and what everybody else's ideas are going to develop into, so that way we can keep them moving forward. What do you think, Chaps? What do you think that we should be doing next?
I think there are a lot of great ideas going on, and a lot of things that are already moving. I am very interested in seeing pretty much how some of the work that has been done. I know that Danitza has been helping us with kind of just to set up in order to develop training modules or opportunities, just to make sure that our members can actually utilize some of those opportunities. I know Blue Dragon, Rob de la Esprella talked to, presented and kind of talked about the opportunity to be able to do the critical thinking stuff. I think opportunities like that, where folks can actually see all the value of what we bring, will be extremely important, particularly in getting some certifications and things that they can use to better their careers, be better leaders, and actually do better, whatever places they're at. So I think we're already kind of establishing some of those steps, some of those processes, and it'll be great to see them grow and to see more people. One of the things that I love that you've been encouraging us to do is strengthening our chapters. So to be able to see some of the chapters just continue to flow and get stronger and continue to flourish, I think that's going to be an amazing thing. So that piece of training, the piece of the chapters getting stronger, a lot of this other thing, even the opportunity to be able to have this fire chats is phenomenal. But I think if there was something that I'll add to that is I know what we're talking about mentoring, is how to be able to incentivize mentoring in our chapters, and make sure that that's part of our our day-to-day in the chapter level.
Yeah, so the Blue Dragon thing, right, came out that they wanted us to release the names and the list of the members, right? And I refuse to do that. If you want some advertisement and stuff, like not advertisement for like advertisement for the event and the training that is being conducted, we can send those emails out, right? So I'm not, we have not released a single email to anybody about our members, right? So once we did that and we told them that we were not going to do that, they stopped contacting us. But the beauty about it is that El Puente Institute, they agreed to the MOU and everything else. So we're in the finalization, like in the final stage to just sign the MOU. And El Puente is gonna, right now, for what I'm tracking, they're gonna do their first professional mentoring development class. It's gonna be on the second week of September. And they're registering that they're going to do that, and they're going to do it for us for at least a year to see how it goes, right? So there's going to be professional and personal development classes, and there's going to be mentoring development, and they're just going to like sharpen our skills, which is going to be really good. So that's one. The other one is the Bureau of Safety and Environment, right? They're establishing an MOU. I don't think that you all met them, but they were there at the symposium and we started talking. And what they want to do is do an MOU so that when our service members or ANSO members are transitioning out of the service, that they offer them internships, right? So internship to the Bureau of Safety and Environment. So we're working on that MOU so that way we can close the loop on that, so that anyone that is transitioning, they can get an opportunity to apply for that internship. The other thing is that they have personnel, the HR office is willing to do resume training, especially for GS training, for like anyone that is trying to go into the GS world. So they're opening doors for us, right? So there's going to be more involvement and more engagement from the mentoring and the professional in classes virtually that members can actually participate. And you mentioned it, right? That critical thinking program that everybody has available now, that is almost $1,000 just by being an ANSO member. They get it for free. Is money. We just got to make sure that it's used. But in the last 4 years, it has only been 9 people that have used it, and it's just unused resource that is kind of like embarrassing, right? To be honest with you, because we tend to complain and say that we don't get the training that we need, and we want more training, and we want more training on critical thinking, and we need to get better at different things. But then we don't use the thing when we have it for free, right? But what about you, Stefan? What are your thoughts?
So obviously I have to shout out DC chapter because we're the best up here. But
Oh, no biases, right? No biases,
no
considering that you're
biases,
board the
no
director.
biases.
No biases. Okay, got it.
I don't use my title, sir. I use my skills that the Marine Corps gave me, which is recruiting skills. Uh, but I think using the momentum coming out of the symposium and being able to engage the networks that we've made throughout this week is going to be beneficial if we continue to do it. For example, I did meet a lot of NNOA chapter leaders that have given us the opportunity to be like, hey, pick my brain, let us come together and let us continue working forward towards the ANSO mission. I think that's valuable to our association. So being able to reach out, I think a lot of individuals with the chapters that I'm seeing is that there's no communication flow of let's do this, what are we doing this week, what are we doing, instead of waiting 2 months from now, what are we doing next week to prepare for next month, what are some events that we can participate in. And I think that's what for example, our DC chapter, we're very open to any ideas that come through, whether that's, hey, for example, I have somebody in San Diego who's a Marine. She's having troubles getting back into like height and weight standards, right? And it might be completely different from ANSO and what we like our whole mission set in general, but she needs help with getting back into after her postpartum period. It's like, hey, let's create this group chat of the 100-mile August. So for the month of August, we're all running 100 miles or biking or walking, whatever it is, as long as you complete 100 miles. And that kind of brings people together, and you start showing what we're all about. It's the camaraderie of, hey, we're not talking to each other every month or every 2 months. It's every day we're coming up with something or congratulating someone for achieving their masters. Like Caro, she just graduated too with her third masters, and we're like, oh my goodness, like that's amazing, right? So having that continuation of the networking that we've made in the symposium is what's going to bring awareness to our association. Hopefully I can continue engaging with Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps office with doing now that we finished the symposium and him seeing what ANSO really stands for in our mission. How can Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps help us bring awareness to the association through junior Marines, because those are our junior military folks are the ones that we want to target as well. And that's what I'm pushing out now, is all my Marines that I recruited in the Marine Corps, like bringing them in and be like, hey, join ANSO, because this is what we're a part of. This is what we stand for, and this is how we're going to get you to point A, B, and C. So that's kind of like my mission set, like what I'm trying to do, coming out of symposium and seeing and meeting everybody. So I think that it would be good for the chapters.
Well, all I heard was DC is best. San Diego, even though you're represented, you guys are not as good. We're doing the symposium in your house, and we're gonna beat you down with the paddle that we got. So I don't know what San Diego is thinking, but I'm gonna turn over to Nicole as to what her thoughts were. Because if I'm her or Chaps, I'm like, I'm done talking to stop starting listening, and I'm gonna just shock her. Like, nobody comes into our house. She will be uninvited to come to the symposium if I were y'all, but that's on you guys. But what are you all doing? It gets personal with the chapters competitions, right? So I'm just saying, what are y'all thinking about doing there, Nicole? What are y'all gonna do to stop sharing? I don't anymore, right?
I think we'll see her in December.
Oh, she didn't say celebrate you though. She said we'll see you in December, kind of like stand by because we're coming. How about you, Chaps? Anything? Chaps, anything from you?
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty much, again, we have learned so much and
No, we're talking about DC beating San Diego. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about anything else. We're talking about Staff Sergeant just called you out, Commander, and I don't know what you're gonna do, but she wouldn't be invited in my house.
Well, she's always welcome. She's always welcome. Yeah, she's always welcome.
Might not leave.
See, DC is always welcome. We know pretty much how San Diego is gonna be just rocking the symposium, and it's gonna do such an amazing job that pretty much we'll be moving the chapter and already starting the whole idea of how to make a symposium successful through our efforts. So I mean, we had a great opportunity last year in December where we exceeded pretty much some of the numbers, and we had a great turnout. So I think this year, pretty much as we continue to work towards this symposium, pretty much the goal is just to keep exceeding those numbers and to kind of just give DC the opportunity to start learning the lessons. That way they can run their own symposium the following year for the Eastern Symposium. You see? So yeah, we'll give them a chance just to go ahead and go through the experience with us.
Oh, so you're just gonna use it as a learning tool for them. Okay. Well, I'll tell you this, right? Because DC, they got a warning order that we want to do it in Washington, DC, right? So they're gonna start scrambling, and now they're gonna start realizing that there's a lot of things that they have to do when it comes down to leading a symposium, right? So it should be good times though. But They, the paddle was amazing, and the picture, and they loved it. I think y'all loved it in DC, and I'm hoping that San Diego wants their own paddle. So be careful when you bring it through the airport. That San Diego might steal it and just put because it's DC, right? So they're just gonna put the S on the top and then take off the C. So I don't know, but it should be a good time. Should be a good time. But I'll tell you that we learned a lot of lessons. We did a lot of great things. And we need to continue to maximize those opportunities that were presented, right? There's people that wanted sponsors, there's people that grew and they're still joining from last week. But that's one of the things that they made a big deal about, right? It's like as soon as they joined, Staff Sergeant was sending emails, and that made a difference. And they were talking about that. It's like you're responding to us immediately, so it's really important for us to respond to questions and anything that they have, right? So I think that we're heading in the right direction. We just need to make sure that we continue to provide benefit to being a member. Apart from the two symposiums that we're going to do, the chapter's got to do events, right? And if they don't do that, then we're going to have problems, right? But no, it's a good day. We had an army. We only had two army, right? So Carlo was there hiding in
Yes,
the back,
sir.
like
So, so it's
like
funny
he was
because
like gonna be hurt. Like
uh,
I don't know if you saw him. He was like hiding in the back. It's not like he can hide. Everybody was wearing khakis. He was
everyone,
the only one in green. So it was
yeah.
like a tree in the desert, right? So I don't understand why he was like in the back.
So
But
everyone was approaching me like, you look different. Like, why you have that uniform? Like, I don't understand. Like, there's a major from the Marine, and then he came to me and he was like asking me some questions. Like, okay, so where are you from? And it's like, yeah, I'm from the Army. And he looked at me like, yeah, I know. Like, I'm the podcast face of the ANSO. Had the opportunity to talk to the Master Chief of the Coast Guard. It was awesome as well. I have I have that interview that I'm gonna post shortly, maybe in this week or not. But it was a pretty cool spirit. I was not able to be the whole week, just because of the family situation. But the Tuesday I was over there, it was amazing because this is something we don't do in the army. Like symposiums like this, like this. I never seen that. Like the one you did as an ANSO and an OA, and I think it brings a lot of value for the service members because they're looking for mentorships and they're looking for networking, and this is most importantly, that's how you close the bridge between junior enlisted and senior enlisted, and then make sure you gather everyone in the one room, and then like you start talking about different mentors, because like uh, I've been in the army for almost 12 years, and I think networking doesn't matter if from the Marine, Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, or Army, any of the services. It's very important to have that mentorship and that mentor that can take you to the next level. And and I think I can praise that from Lieutenant Colonel Montalvan because I know him for the last almost a year, and I know I have absorbed a lot of his mentorship. Although he's a Marine, but every time I have learned a lot of insights that I can utilize as a leader. Sir, we have Jose Peña as well on the line. He's been very quiet too. I don't know if you want to share
well,
anything.
first of all, let me go back to like even though he's a Marine type of comment. I'm gonna go
No.
back to that comment, right? That's number one. Number two, you're not a token because we have Rosanna from the Army lieutenant that she's deployed right now to
Hmm.
Honduras, right? Who joined before you.
Hmm.
So you were the second, and then was Danita or D. So
Yeah.
you're not a token. Don't make yourself feel special just because you came out from like command and staff in the army and stuff,
No,
right?
no,
It's like
no, no.
I'm unique, I'm special. No, brother. There's at least 3 or 4 other army soldiers in our unit, in our association.
No, no, no. I
That
understand,
just
sir.
means
Yeah.
we need to grow our soldiers in Enzo. That's what I hear.
What are you gonna do? Just water them? You're gonna grow them? You're gonna water them, or what are you gonna do? It's like
Uh, yeah, so no, I didn't mean like to say anything about even though he was Marine. I was saying like, because like this is me learning a new lingo as well. I understand like these army, and we have a couple of military members or army members in the ANSO community, but I've been learning a lot, and it's great to hear about sea services as a whole. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
again, it's mentorship. Like we can
You'd
utilize.
be surprised, right? Because we teach you even the right structure. It's like now people know what an AMRO is, so we're good. It's like
I
it's a
know,
moneymaker, right? It's like,
I know that joke. That's an inside joke. That, yeah. So I feel that joke because I had to look. I'll say by my own experience, I had to look what Armilla was, and I learned quickly. Okay, yeah, now I can relate. Yeah, but yeah,
all
yes,
right.
sir.
We see Command Master Chief in the house. He spent a lot of time and he's keep on posting those pictures of like after he runs like 10 miles. It's like, hey, Command Master Chief, are you gonna take Chaps running again, or are you gonna just let him run by himself?
Well, first of all, I got to tell everybody y'all lied to me. Chaps is a runner, and y'all set me up for failure on that one. I was looking at doing some nice easy runs, and then Chaps wants to run at his normal pace, which is probably my fast pace. So thanks for setting me up for failure on that one. So I appreciate that. But no, I've been listening to the conversation, and it's a great conversation, right? This is how we get better. Kind of from the DC chapter to San Diego chapter, as we're talking about that, how we're going to have to elevate our game, right? But that's what makes us better, right? Is that great competition amongst the chapters and in the organization and as ANSO in general, which is driving to some of the questions that came up. What are we doing as ANSO, and how are we, what are we going to do different moving forward? One of the things that I know we talked about in the San Diego chapter is more of the community relations piece, right? Because as we get more in the community, and yeah, it's great to meet as a chapter and do stuff internally, and that benefits us all. But how do we get back? I know Commandant of the Marine Corps said it, right? You can't get 100% out of 50%. So we're already members. We're having our meetings. So now we got to spread that. And I think it's by community relations, right? Start doing stuff with different organizations and then spreading the name of ANSO out there, where then they also start spreading it because they're like, oh yeah, we chopped it up with ANSO and we did this event and here's what they're about. So now it's not just word of mouth from us, it's word of mouth from other people that we're having affiliation with. So that's kind of my little spill as I've been kind of sitting here listening to the great conversation. But yeah, great conversation, great symposium. I was glad that I was able to be there the whole time, and appreciate all the fellowship that we had out there in Norfolk.
Well, Command Master Chief, I tell you that I spoke to Chaps after your first run, and he said that he was going slow, and then you came up and said, I'm gonna go a little faster, and you picked it up, and he said, oh, he didn't curse because obviously Chaps don't curse, right? But he's like, oh, hello, and then he dropped the hammer because he said nobody comes into my house. I guess he's running house and does those things. But he was throwing it at you that you're the one that brought it up. So I don't know. But the community relationship piece is really important, and that's one of the things that I want to, obviously once we start talking about the symposium for Western Region that is going to come out, and we're going to start talking about it this weekend, right? Is that we want to follow an example of like not necessarily the stamp, right? Because the kids are going to be in school, but we should be able to go into like 2 or 3 high schools that have JROTCs and get some of our service members that get in there on the Monday on the 2nd and provide some mentorship and provide some panels. And I think we got ways to get into those schools through the JROTC so that we can do speed mentoring, we can do some panels, and we can do a couple of things that might help those units. So completely agreed. One of the things that I tell you that I liked was the scholarship piece, right? Like the way that they did the scholarships. I think that not necessarily like picking it out of a hat, but if we can get a couple of people, like, units in the area to like nominate their people, and we do the same thing that we did this time around, we might be able to offer a couple of scholarships just from that area if we're getting some sponsorship that I'm hoping that we get. So maybe that might be a way that we can give back as well in the San Diego area. And considering that we have a lot of sailors and, Navy and Marine Corps and Coasties, right? Like in that area, most of those kids are most likely dependent. So that's giving back to the community and also giving back to dependents who sacrifice as much, if not more than us. So that's going to be a good thing. So no, that's great. But I know that I've been keeping you guys. We said 47, like 40 minutes. We're already at 47. Nicole is like, Argentina. Where's Argentina? They got disqualified, Nicole. They got disqualified. I couldn't believe that they got disqualified against France. But they're no longer in the Olympics for soccer, which is the only sport that matters in the Olympics anyway. So it's all right, right? I'm a little biased, so I'm sorry, right? So that's what happens when you get me on a channel. But but one thing though, we talked, and I'm just wondering, because all of us, right? We've been in the military for a long time. Nicole has been in the Air Force before, but I'm curious, right? Because I mean, I'm pretty old, right? I'm turning 49 next month. I can't believe it, right? But lieutenants talk different language than we do, right? And my question would be, how do we get more ensigns and lieutenants into ANSO, Nicole? You're closer to them than we are.
So I learned about ANSO when I was an ensign. So I didn't know about it being, obviously I didn't know about it when I was prior Air Force, but in the nurse corps, I'm surprised that not many nurses know about ANSO. Even my Divo, she's a lieutenant commander and she's Hispanic. She doesn't know about ANSO, and so I told her about it, and she's gonna come to the symposium in December. But I think it's just honestly, we went to the symposium in a couple weeks ago, and then it's been around since the 80s, but we have 600 something active members. So I think it's just people don't know, and just a lot of, telling people about it. And so that's what I'm doing, is telling other ensigns or LTs about it, especially nurse corps. So, I mean, I don't really get a lot of opportunity to talk to anyone outside of the nurse corps. So that's what I would say, is I get to work with other ensigns and other LTs, and I get to tell them about it. So that's how I would bring more ensigns and LTs.
Yeah, we're gonna start doing a referral program there, Stasser. Right, so you refer somebody that hasn't been there, you bring them to the symposium, you get something. But no, and I think that is why Veronica and Carlo is helping us, right, with podcasts and social media. I don't know if you have seen all the social media posts that we have had in the last week, all the interviews. Which, by the way, Carlo, you owe me a couple of interviews that I know you did, so we got to post them out there, right? But I think that is going to be the best way. And at least from the Marine Corps, we get opportunity to go to TBS once a month. So we just got to figure out how we're going to get the sailors and the coasties, right? But I got some point of contacts for the U.S. Coast Guard Latin American Association. They have one. So I messaged them in the Instagram, because even though I'm almost 49, I'm pretty hip, right? So I went on Instagram and sent them a message. Yeah, I use hip, by the way. So I messaged them, and we need to talk to them, right? And same with the Merchant Marines, the superintendent. I got her card, and she became a lifetime member, and she just messaged me on LinkedIn. So we're getting there. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I think that we're going to get there. And and Command Master Chief as well, from the Navy side of the house, he has a lot of connections, right? The commands are pushing. So I think that we're heading in the right direction. I think that we just need to make sure that we don't slow down, right? When you slow down and you feel that you have gotten there because the symposium happened, now it's going to be on us to go and hold the Western Region Symposium, make sure that we have as much success. But the measure for us should not be, and I'll tell you right now, right? Because we have the connections, and then, hopefully by that point I'm promoting. It should not be a colonel or a command master chief or an admiral or a general telling their people, go, you have to go, right? And then we get 300 people on the first day, but then we get down to like 100 on the second day, right? So what we need to do is, our measure of success should be that on average has been about 160 on second day, right? And maybe even less, right? So for us should be, we get over 200 and we keep over 200 throughout the 3 days. And that should be our measure of success. People that want to come to us and want to come to the symposium because they want to be there, not because they're being forced to be there. And I think that when we do that, then San Diego chapter is going to say, I have 1,000 active members versus I have 1,000 members, but most of them are going to say, no, I don't want to come to an event because they were told that they had to go, right? So I think that if we do it that way, it's going to be good. If the Navy comes with the Navy Corps and Command Master Chief brings his sailors and then we bring our chops again because we got a lot and we like to keep on bringing them, right? And then from us, our Marines come in and we get Chief and Drakes to bring in more people. I think that we can go over 200, no doubt, on this symposium on people that want to be there. We just got to keep on making sure that we let them know what we're bringing to the table. But I think that would be excellent, especially if we provide awards. So we need to make sure that awards are submitted, and we need to start advertising those awards now, right? So I think that is going to be a winning thing. But yeah, I'm going to close it out because if not, we can keep on talking. But maybe next month, we talk about something that is like Marine Corps wise, right? Like, hey, or because next month is Hispanic Heritage Month and we do it at the beginning of the month, we can talk about Hispanic Heritage Month and how it started. So, we can start with, how Mexico started playing around, right? Like Columbus got into El Salvador first and Cuba, Haiti, and then Salvador. We can go into how Argentina and Brazil, right? They did their things, and Venezuela came up with Bolivar, right? So all those great things we can talk about next month. And most important is like celebrating what we bring to the table, because that's what we need to do. But do me a favor, please send it out. Let everybody know that we need to be hitting up the high schools, hitting up the commands, hitting up everybody that is looking for speakers for Hispanic Heritage Month and volunteering for that, and and coming up with something to write and say, right? Because it's really important. So I don't know. I think that you all did great. Like I told you at the symposium, people saw me and I have never ever taken so many pictures, right? Because I really dislike pictures and pretending to smile as well, because some of them were like real smiles and some of them were like, it reminds me of my older kid, right? Like just like, like pretending that he smiled, but he's not smiling. But there was a lot of pictures and a lot of things and people like associate, right? It's like the president. But I tell you that that's nothing in comparison to what you all did. And I truly, truly evaluate it. I appreciate it. And I'll say it over and over again. I just come up with the craziest ideas and you execute them and you're doing fantastic, right? So, the volunteers, the board directors, the chapters are the ones that take all this credit, because you guys did amazing. And like I said, Nicole flew in on her own dime. I had a friend that came from Connecticut on his own dime. We had other Marines that came in, out of their own dime, right? Mariela Peña did it, right? Because she was invited to be the panelist. So there's a lot of Marines, coasties, and sailors that came out, and they paid out of their own pocket to be there because they wanted to be there. So,
Sir, I have Captain Medina saying hi on the chat. Sorry to cut you down, and I have a comment I just want to share on YouTube. It's related to your comment on how we're gonna bring more, lieutenants to the ANSO community. Catherine Cepeda in YouTube is saying, bringing junior sailors that wants to understand how the naval forces operates, creating an equal opportunity support system for sailors with language and cultural limitations. That's what Catherine Cepeda is sharing on YouTube comments.
Catherine, I think you have the Zoom link too. You can join us. You don't have to just be in YouTube. But to answer your question, I don't know how much you got it, but one of the things that we did was celebrate our junior sailors and Marines and Coast Guardsmen that were in attendance. And from the get-go, I on the reception speech and also in the opening remarks, I made sure that everybody understood that our junior Marines and sailors and Coast Guardsmen are welcome, are appreciated, and their value and their comments were going to be received as good, if not better sometimes than in 06 or higher. So we appreciate that comment. We're going to take it for heart, and we're going to keep on pushing for getting our junior lieutenants and ensigns and enlisted service member to come in and know that it's going to be a safe environment. And most importantly, that regardless of accent, regardless of where they come from, regardless of what country they come from, unless they're coming from France, because we don't, France and soccer is not our favorites right now. But
And
other than
neither
that,
basketball, but anyway.
yeah, in basketball, right? But we're gonna appreciate anyone that comes in, and we're gonna value. And there's gonna be cultural training, and I'm glad. I don't know if you caught it, but our MOU with El Puente Institute has a cultural training in the workplace that we are going to be providing. That is an hour class or 2 hour periods, but we're focused on cultural, and most important, we're talking about no kidding. No matter where you come from, don't be afraid, don't be embarrassed, because regardless of where you come from or who you are, whatever background, we appreciate who you are, and we value your contribution to this country and value your contribution to this community. So, but please, if you're still there, you want to say hello, we got about a minute before we get off. But next time, jump on the Zoom call and let us know, because we want to hear from our junior officers and staff NCOs and junior enlisted service members, so that way we can get better.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I missed anything, but I think that wraps up and like covers down some of the things that we said at the symposium.
Yes, sir.
And how I see, right? And like I told you, Staff Sergeant, right? And I said it, I might be old, but I try to be hip. I know that's not a word that we use nowadays, but hey, that's the word that I'm sticking with today. But teach me, and I told you that, teach me and I'll learn. Teach me and I'll get better. Right. So if there's a way that we can incorporate more junior officers and enlisted service members, let me know and we'll come up with a plan to do it. The last thing that we want is to actually isolate or exclude anyone, because we are all inclusive. But Chaps, any last words before, I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to say anything. And Chaps, anything from you?
No, except for saying, hey, as Staff Sergeant was saying, this opportunity, the symposium energizes and give us momentum, and it's important to keep it up, particularly now that we're going into Hispanic Heritage Month. So make sure that fire continues.
That's great. And Nicole, anything from you? She loves being called on. She loves it.
I was remembering when Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps was like, I don't know why you guys come to these. And then at the end of it, it was, if your cup is filled at the end of it, then I'm happy. And my cup was definitely filled. I was happy that I was there, and I'm hoping to tell more people in my community about it. So I'm happy to be a part of ANSO, and thank you for having me to be part of it too.
Raw. Come on, Master Chief, anything from you?
Yeah, the only thing I got is since we're doing quotes, right? I'll quote the Commandant of the Marine Corps. I believe she said, "We set the conditions for our people to be successful," right? And I really took that one, because that's why we were there, right? To continue to have the conversations and continue to engage with everybody that was there, for all of us to be successful, right, at the end of the day. So that's what I would leave with. I really took that to heart the whole time I was there, and I'm still using it, these last couple of weeks. So I really enjoyed that quote.
Yeah, it's a great one, and something, right? Like the Commandant of the Marine Corps said it, and I wrote it down over a year ago, almost 2 years ago, and he said, "Use your rank for good." Right, and I keep it, right. It's like, use your rank for good. The good of the sailors, coasties, Marines, right? If they're struggling, use it, right? If they cannot get into CDC, use it. If they cannot get, the stamps that they need, use your rank, right? And the Commandant comes up with quotes, and the CNO came up with quotes, and the Commandant of the Coast Guard came up with some amazing quotes. So I came up with a lot of things that we need to kind of like adhere. But one of the things that we've been saying, right, since before I even became president, was that we believe in your success is our success, right? And if we go with that and our cup is filled because somebody else is being successful, I think that we have won the day. But Staff Sergeant, anything from you?
No, sir. It was my first symposium, so it was amazing, and Just to caveat with everybody said, I think that we have the momentum now to keep pushing and seeing the community and how much of a family we are after meeting each other in one day, after all of these Zoom calls that we've been on. I think we're in that moment right now, and we need to keep pushing.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I appreciate that, because we do, right? We just got to continue to advance, and I like, like I said, Command Master Chief comments and a reminder that it's, we just as good as the person next to us, right? So we just got to keep on pulling people and doing the best that we can. And Carlo also some additional podcasts coming up, right? So we got a couple coming up, a couple stories coming up. So if you run into anyone that would like to share their stories, please hit them up with Carlo, because we got Denisa. I don't know who heard these podcasts, but holy Batman, that was awesome, right? So every story that we have is different. Every story that we're sharing is magnificent, and it's opening doors and allowing us to see, experiences and different things through somebody else's lenses, right? And the idea of perseverance and dedication, people use it as a quote and wording just to like motivate others, but some of the stories that are being told are pretty significant and pretty impactful. But Carlo, anything?
Yes, sir. So
you
I
get
had
to close us out.
Catherine. I'm gonna close. She has a comment, and then I'm gonna close us out for today.
Another comment for Catherine.
Yeah, another comment. Briefly.
Is she a member? First of all, wait a minute. Is she a member?
She's saying proudly listed Navy here, and then she's laughing. But we are hardcore recruiters for ANSO, and as we learn in the
is she a member? Catherine, are you a member?
So, and then she said, as we learn in the symposium, we mentor up and down the chain of command, and we recruit up down to the chain of command. That's what.
But she hasn't answered my question, Catherine. You're not answering my question. Are you a member of ANSO?
It's gonna be like a little bit of delay before she answers.
It's okay. I got a few minutes. I want to hear this. Yeah. I think the membership coordinator, a fellow sailor. To sailors, because we're the only two Marines.
Yes, I am a member. She's responded back to you, sir.
That is awesome, Catherine. So now we can listen even more. Are you a lifetime member?
No.
I'm teasing you, Catherine. Hey, Catherine, I think that I remember. I think I know who you are. Like I have to put a face to the name, but shoot me an email and let's talk about your ideas and how you can become more active. And if I'm correct, maybe, are you the one from Miami?
We are waiting.
No.
We'll see.
She's from Puerto Rico.
Is she the one in Puerto Rico right now?
No,
or is she the one in Miami?
She says no, she's not from Miami.
No, is she in Miami? So we had some. Anyways, Catherine, you shoot me an email. You can find me on the ANSO page, anso.president@gmail.com. And let's talk about how we can get more sailors in there, and let's have conversations. And I'll put you in contact with Command Master Chief and Lieutenant Sandoval, so that we can work something out. Because I want to keep you in the loop, and I want you to stay active with us. But next time, jump in the Zoom call. All right. But hey, Carlo, go ahead and close us out before we keep on talking.
Yes, sir. So I appreciate everyone to be here. Our second Fireside chat. It's not the first one. It's the second one on YouTube. But it's the first one on YouTube. So I appreciate it to everyone that attended here, talking with El Presidente. We're going to continue this monthly. Let me see. Yeah.
By the way, say hello to Captain Medina, since he said hi. We responded, right? We just waved.
Yeah, Captain Medina, he's on the line. Catherine is last comment. You are awesome, sir. But for now, we're really focused on sharing all you guys are doing in social media. They're sharing social media. I think that's answer back to how we can get more engaged to, and lower.
All I heard was that I was awesome, so I'm okay. Go ahead.
Anyway, we're gonna close out. I appreciate it, and now I'm gonna go by myself on the camera. Thank you, everyone that tuned in the YouTube, the ANSO YouTube channel. Don't forget to like this content, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can follow us on Instagram as ANSO Mail, and that's also in YouTube. Okay, so stay tuned for more podcasts and other videos, informative videos, and Fireside Chat a month. Okay, so for now, we'll say bye.